Okay, good evening, everybody. Good evening and welcome to our call for tonight. And let me enable the chat. And good evening to you all. Hope that you are well. And this is our weekend Q&A. So if you have questions about using your PLR or your online business, please fire away and I will take a shot at them. And if I don't know the answer, I will go back and get them. So good to see you all here tonight. What I do want to talk about are a few things with you. And I'm pretty sure that you saw them in the news. If you didn't, um, I'm going to ask you to just take a look at something. I put not really a web page together. I just threw something together. It's the plrshow.com/AI. And what I want you to look at here is going to be the article on YouTube. And I don't know if you can see my screen. Hopefully you can. And it's going to be pretty important for you because this is really what I have been saying since the beginning of the year about AI and about these big platforms. And one of the things that if you've read this, how many of you have read this? So if you're looking at this, if you are seeing what I'm showing you on my screen for the first time, please put the number one in the question box. If you have seen it earlier this week, please put the number two in the question box. If you've seen this memo, all right, it's okay, good. So some of you all have seen it. So I think you know what I am talking about here. And what YouTube is basically saying is the same thing that Amazon said. And that is that eventually, not right now, but some point in 2024, you're going to have to disclose if you used AI to put your videos together. So I may have said this maybe 2 weeks ago about adding one, um, a faceless channel in terms of the workload that you have and trying to get your recurring income. Um, just to be circumspect, not to be quick to add that on because it's not going to be just you're just going to run this automated system and it's just going to bring in cash and YouTube's just going the algorithm loves all this stuff and it never works that way. And it always works so that these companies they're what is the I think the Joker said in the Dark Knight Rises said they're only as good as the world allows them to be. And so basically, what you're seeing is they're adjusting in real time, and they're probably getting pressure from other people. Let's see, right? What's happening is they are really making adjustments to the policy because they're getting flooded with AI content. And they got to figure out something to do because when you go to YouTube, depending on what you see it on, you've got an AI generated video giving you quote content. And that's not really what they want. That doesn't keep people on the platform. And people say, oh, I don't care as long as it's good information. I don't care if it's an AI. Well, you wait until someone's got to disclose that, this video is AI generated. You may or may not want to listen to it. And by and large, you're going to see that people may or may not want to hear that information. That doesn't mean everybody's going to disclose. It doesn't mean everybody's going to go along with the policy. It just means that you need to understand that this is not going to be just something that you can just tack on and it's going to work automated. And that's going to be the same thing in just about everything that you see being sold as a solution to a problem that is currently existing that AI is going to solve. AI does not solve the content problem. AI does not make you an expert and make people want to listen to you. So just so that you'll know that the same thing that I said in January, which was double down on your personal and professional network. Double down on being an expert in a particular area. That has not changed. It's not going to change now. It's not going to change in the next year. And AI is not going to solve that for you as an information marketer. You are still going to have to be that person. You're going to still have to be that guy. You're going to have to be that woman in an area, and you're going to have to be known in that area, right? It's not going to change, and that's these things are going to be adjusting. So don't respond when you see that. Well, hey, I've got to do all this to keep up. What you've got to do is to be an educator. You've got to make sure you understand it. You've got to make sense of it for your customers. You've got to show them how to navigate it, but don't be quick to take it and turn it into a business model where you're relying on these big platforms to accept what you're giving to them, right? So if you have not read this, I encourage you, read this article all the way through because it's everything I've been saying to you since January about these big companies and about AI. It's the same thing. And I put on that website about the Amazon guidelines. And that's been a few weeks, has been a month or so, where, we've heard from Amazon that, hey, you've got to disclose that that what you're producing is AI generated. Right now, granted, people may not care. They may not care that all they care about is the information, but you've still got to disclose. Right. And so all of these things are not necessarily going to take the place of you being the expert or the man or the woman in an area. You still need your personal and develop and professional network. And as I said in January, double down on that. Expand your personal and professional network. Expand the number of people who can promote you at any time. Right? You don't want to be subject to any group of people. One's the worst number in business. You don't want to have one of anything. And so you've got to make sure that you're tied to everybody, right, in an area so that everybody can put you on, that everybody knows who you are, that everybody can do this for you as much as you can. Every day should be a day that you should be growing your personal and professional network, right? So again, as you navigate AI, as you navigate where you make sense of it for your customer, at the same time, grow your network. Be growing your personal and professional network. So that is going to be true. I could do the same address that I did in January of last year. I think I did it on New Year's Day. I could do the same thing January of this year. Double down your personal professional network, double down on being an expert in an area, right? Being an educator, being a reliable source of information. Okay, so that was really all that I really wanted to do. Once again, I've got everything on that, right, that you need to see. I put it at plrshow.com/AI. It's not I'm not going to be posting articles there. I just, for your sake of your convenience, I want you to read those two articles. And you need to read them and understand them. And when you read them, you don't read them kind of like as a snapshot. You need to read this and understand the big picture, right? This is a pattern. This is the same pattern that happened with the Google slap. This is the same pattern that happened with, you name it. Everything that's happened in information marketing has gone this pattern. This is not going to change who you are as an information marketer. You still need to be going after recurring income. You still need to be going after, um, more people who can promote you and more people who can be your affiliate. Those are going to be the things that will sustain you over time. Um, let's see. Can't you write a preface of these two Amazon and YouTube articles? Um, okay, I'm not sure what you're asking, Santu. I think the basis of this is that YouTube and Amazon are basically saying that eventually we want you to disclose. You're going to have to tell us that you're using it, and we're going to be free to tell your customer. So that if you're going to build your content on AI content, just understand that all that work you're doing, eventually you're going to have to tell everybody, and some people are going to want to hear it and some people are not. And so it doesn't change the need for you and I to be an expert in an area. Right? That's the short answer. Amazon's saying you got to disclose, YouTube is saying you got to disclose. Right? Same thing. And this is, and when I say it's going to be a pattern, expect that this is going to happen in all the big companies. Expect that all these big entities that allow you for free to post your content to say to you, well, hey, if this is AI content, we want you to tell us so we can tell your customer. We can tell our customer, right? So because Amazon took the position, if you read the Amazon content guidelines, if you read them real carefully, do you know what they're saying? Amazon is saying, these aren't your customers. They're not your readers. These are our readers. And so if you're going to put your content in on our platform for our customers, for our readers, you're going to tell us, and we reserve the right to tell your customers, to tell our customers. So they're not even pretending like you own those readers. They're saying we own those readers. If you read that, it ought to give you it ought to give you pause as to how you're going to interact with Amazon Kindle. I mean, maybe you put some stuff on their Kindle for lead generation, but eventually you got to own those customers, right? Right? If they don't become your readers, right? Amazon is saying, no, these are our readers. Imagine that. Imagine putting your heart and soul into writing a book and then posting it on Amazon, and Amazon saying, thank you for serving our readers. Right? These aren't your readers. They're not even saying they're your readers. So again, every platform you're on, you and I have to be moving those people into a platform where we are in control, where we own the message, where we are speaking our truth, as they say, right? So again, whether you use AI or whether you don't, AI is not going to be the easy button to automatically pushing customers into your marketing funnel that trust you and are willing to spend money with you. That's what I'm saying to you. So don't believe it, even if you're told that. Okay, let me see. I've got yeah, no, yeah, and I agree, Craig. I mean, people are leaving those platforms, but they're still saying, right? They're still saying that these are their people. Let me see. Okay, so Santu's question is, what about using AI for developing your ideas without disclosing? I don't know, right? Right now, they're saying AI, Amazon says AI assisted is fine, right? YouTube didn't say that. YouTube is saying we'll decide. And right now, YouTube is putting AI tools of their own. They're investing in their own AI tools. And what they're basically saying is that if you read that memo, right? If you read that memo, YouTube is saying we reserve the right to kick you off the platform if we think you're not disclosing enough. Just imagine that, right? So again, I'm not saying don't do a faceless channel. I'm just saying eyes wide open when you do. And so you're gonna spend if you spend your time there, then make sure it's worth your time. Because as an information marketer, most of us, right? One of the reasons why information marketing works so well is because we don't have to invest big sums of money, but we got to invest big sums of time. And so sometimes in order to get the recurring income that comes as a result of the work that you do one time, you got to invest some time positioning yourself and in getting in position so that people learn to trust you so that they can allow you to speak to them. Right. And so basically, a lot of people use YouTube for that purpose. And so you might have to be willing to be a content creator in the traditional sense, rather than saying I'm going to automate everything and put it on YouTube. YouTube is saying we're not going to have it just the Wild West the way it is right now. They're acknowledging it's the Wild West right now. They're saying you can do it, you can do it any place else you want to. You're not going to do it here. And you cannot blame them for saying that. Okay, let me see what I got here. Uh Yeah, so Paul's question is, do you help us if we have ideas for PLR courses? I have at least two topics that I don't think I have done that have been done before, business related. Paul, you are an ultimate insider, so the answer is yes, right? So, I think we're doing your onboarding call next week. So, hopefully you'll have your ideas ready, right? So that's what the onboarding call is for. And yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. Let me see. Craig says right now, what you have to do is to use AI to create, and then use another tool to rewrite it or spin it. And then you might need to. Well, yeah, okay. So you may, right? You may need to disclose, right? I, what they're saying is you might need to disclose, right? So I mean, whatever you do, right? It just may need to be disclosure. And so then it'll be up to the customer to decide, right? So, uh, okay, yeah, no, I get it. Yep. Um, Understanding how to make sure it does what you need it to do is an important part of the process, right? And to really get it to do and to hone it and to make it do what you need it to do. Um, Ultimately, it's going to be positioning where you are in the marketplace and getting people to understand. Now, here's an interesting thing. Um, I just saw that I think his name is Drew, right? Drew and I have been friends for a long time, and Tiffany, Tiffany, love the heck out of her, right? She's been a long time PLI creator, and they've released content that was AI assisted, right? I don't know that I'm gonna do that, right? But they did it. So, but they disclosed, right? They both disclosed. They both said up front. Tiffany is way up front, right? And so I think she's, kind of really leading the market and saying, here's something I did. It's AI assisted and just letting you decide. Drew did the same thing, right? So he did that with his Google 3-pack thing. And I don't know how well it sold. It looked like it sold pretty well. And I think it was made deal of the day or something like that. So yeah. So, I think as long as you are a person is ready to say that, yes, I used AI to assist me, and I think eventually that's where we're going to be in information marketing, that, people are going to just have to be willing to say that. And I think as long as you're willing to say that, then the big platforms are going to say, we want you to tell us, right? That's what I think that we are going with this. Right? But good point. Okay, any other questions? Any other questions? Yeah, I decided not to prepare anything much tonight, so I'll just take your questions as you have them. Any questions on running your online business or something that you're trying to do, or um yeah, Paul's saying YouTube will ban you for no reason. I mean, I mean almost. I mean, sometimes it's somebody else who will say something to him, right? Sometimes somebody else will say, well, we don't like what this guy said. And so they look at it and they say, oh, well, yeah, well, maybe not. And right? So um sometimes it's the people who are watching who will say to YouTube, well, you need to ban this guy, right? And sometimes they'll say, yeah. Um and I think that there's a difference between being a YouTuber and being and using YouTube for lead generation. I've got a friend of mine and a colleague that used to be a PLR creator. His name is Aurelius. And then I say about 3 or 4 years ago, I mean, he got really serious about being a YouTuber, right? So he is a content creator, and so what that business model has done for him is it's given him brand deals, it's given him um, a different way of generating income. So he's not necessarily dependent on sales. I mean, I think he's getting ad revenue. I think he's getting brand deals. I think he's getting some other things that were for him puts him in more control than he felt like he was in as a product creator. But he does still create products, right? So he still does create products. So it is another way of being able to do it. I don't know if I would want to be a YouTuber, right? So I don't know if I would want to be a YouTuber like he's doing. I think that yeah, it's a persona, right? And I'm not good at persona. Okay. Um, let's see. Let's see. Santu. Let's see. Santu. If I were to sell coaching sessions separately, but give a discount if people want to buy both together, what percentage off would be good? I think that, okay, so if you say, let's just say for the sake of 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 dollars, that a coaching session is 250. And pricing is kind of arbitrary. Um, but I would say that if you say that two coaching sessions are going to be a little bit better, and let's say that one was 250, I would say that you could do two for 397, right? Something like that, or a month's worth for something. Well, I would not do a two for, I might do a month, right? I maybe do a monthly, like a one session is X, and then a month is X, something like, come up with that number. Uh, something like, 197 for one session, and then a month is 497, something like that. Right. But yeah, I would think a percentage off is okay if they buy more. Um, and and I would not do one and two. I think I would do one in a month, right? Personally, right? But I think you got to test and see how people receive it, right? They got to test and see how people receive it. Okay. Yeah, I think that Paul's saying what you're saying is to be so many places if one platform shuts you down, it doesn't matter everywhere, and it would develop your list, right? Yeah, one's the worst number in business, and if you're any one place, and quite honestly, I've said this, right? I don't like affiliate traffic being the primary form of traffic that we're getting, right? And I have I am um animated to not have that. So, this year I've been really thinking through how not to be how not to get the majority of our traffic from affiliates, right? And so I think you're right. You sort of got to be everywhere. Now, there's a way for me to do this. And this is the same with the way thing that I've taught in the 52-week session, right? And so for an information marketer, this is not hard. It's just being consistent. Number one, I mean, we just talked about Kindle. It's being there, right? With not necessarily being a Kindle person, but building a universe so that you have books that are basically the same as your lead magnet, but in Kindle form. So in other words, I should have, right? I'm working on it, but again, this is what you're really trying to do. You're trying to be in Kindle format, your lead magnet. You're trying to be in Udemy, your lead magnet in Udemy format. You're trying to be in Skillshare, your lead magnet. You're trying to be in Course Hero, whatever that format is, same information, but it's got to be your lead magnet. It's all got to point back to your marketing funnel, and it should point back to your weekly workshop. So everything for me, like I do two of these, right? I do a private one and I do this one. Theoretically, I could point people to this session because at the end, I'm going to ask you to become an ultimate insider. I'm going to ask you to become part of our email marketing list. That is ideally what you want. And so you got to have a place to point people, and but you want to be every place so that you are in that form, but it's still the lead magnet. So if you're going to be in your local area, right? It's got to be your lead magnet, but it's got to be in local form. So Jane is saying, I'm on camera training. Do I have to redo in order to sell the training as PLR for others to sell to their customers? I don't think so. I think what you could do, Jane, now here's a case where the AI would help you, right? You could take your voice and you could take just your voice and you could put that on something like Pictory or in video. And you could basically, because I don't think you're showing on screen, right? You're not showing anything on screen. So as long as you're not doing on-screen demonstration, you could then take that and then remake that using something like Pictory or in video, right? So yeah, so I don't think you have to be in order to sell it as PLR. I think that you could do it, but you need to make it so that it can easily be reused. And one way to do that would be to take your voice, uh, create the transcript, put the transcript in Pictory, match match the transcript up with your voice, have Pictory do its thing to create a video with your voice, right, in the same timing. So yeah, so I would not necessarily redo it. I would reformat it, right? That makes sense, right? That's a good question. All right, let's see. Santu's saying, do I have link to lifetime access to InVideo? I do not. I'll have to take a look and see if there is such a thing. I'm guessing there is because you wouldn't have mentioned it unless there is. So I didn't know there was such a thing. I don't use InVideo because I use Pictory, so I haven't been paying as much attention to them. But I'll take a look. Um, let's see. Let's see. No, 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 let me come back here. Um, right. Yeah. No, Craig. Yeah. Everything's got to come back to something that you control. Right. That's the most important thing. Right. Because the only thing that we own in this business is our customer list. Right. And so, and if we can't take that custom because you don't own subscribers on YouTube, you don't own your likes, people who like your page on Facebook. You don't own any of that. You don't own anybody on Instagram. You don't own any of those things. You can't take any of those things with you. If they kick you off the platform, right, that becomes it's still their platform. So the only thing you own, and really, you don't even really own anything just by having him in the autoresponder. You own the equity that you have invested into that list. So in other words, it's that relationship that you have put into that they feel something that something's happened between you and them. It's like inexplainable. There's some equity you have to put in there, and that equity is what you own. And so that's what you can carry with you to another platform. Just having like 10, I know people they've got, I mean, twice as many people on their list as I do, right? Twice as many people. I defy them to try to outsell me. And it has nothing to do with me being wonderful. It has everything to do with I have more equity. And so the question is always going to be that even if you have that list, right? I preach, I preach, and I don't know if I don't know if they're if the all the ultimate insiders are converted, but I preach, do a weekly workshop. I preach that. Why do I preach that? It's so that you can develop equity. It's the only thing, right? The only thing you have is in your relationship is the equity you put in, and you develop that by getting on, good or bad, rain or shine, and giving. Right? You need to 30 minutes a week. It's all it takes. You need to give to the people that are buying from you, give to the people that are your prospects 30 minutes. And if you don't have customers yet, one of the ways in which you establish yourself as a trustworthy person is you give for 30 minutes. You say, well, I don't have any customers yet. Well, one of the ways you're going to get those customers is you 30 minutes every week, you get on, and good or bad, uh, pretty or ugly, right? Good hair day, bad hair day, you give. And it doesn't matter. I know a lot of people think, well, I don't really like being on camera. It doesn't have anything to do with you being on camera. It has everything to do with you being present. It's not about being on camera. It's about being present, right? You don't want to be on camera. Okay, done, turn the camera off. But but I would suggest you turn it on. All right. Yeah, yeah. There's Paul says give to get. I mean, there's a level of service that it really does become that level of equity. Right. Yeah. Weekly, a minimum 30 minutes. Right. A weekly, and it's just you just give it yourself. Give it your and you can't listen. I know a lot of people say, well, I don't want to give all that away. I could get on for 2 hours tonight and and I could not tell you everything that I tell Ultimate Insiders on our weekly call. There's no way I could give you everything. I could get on for 3 or 4 hours every Friday night and do nothing. So I say all that to say you're not giving away too much. I don't care what you're doing. You're not giving away too much. If you empty out your head, all your years of experience, you can't get it all out in 30 minutes. No way. So so I say, and I'm not saying like every day, right? Right? You're just gonna get on and give away all your knowledge. I'm not saying that. I'm saying once a week, one time a week, rain or shine, you get on. And if you don't have anybody come, that's wonderful because eventually, you know what that's going to be? That's going to be your bonus for when you sell something. Right. Well, I did a training on AI. Wonderful. Right. That training becomes your bonus. It doesn't matter if nobody comes. Right. For a long time, you know, um, for a long time, Laurel didn't even come to my training. It was really just me. Right. I was the only one, just talking to my computer screen. Laurel wasn't even coming. So it's 30 minutes. And I believe in my heart that if you will just get on and give, you develop a habit. Oh, well, Paul does a Thursday night session every Thursday night at 6:45 p.m. So everybody knows. Right? Everybody know. Oh, Santucci does this grief thing on every Friday at 7:30 p.m. and it's recorded. You can go live, you can ask questions, so and so so so. It should just be like that, right? It's a habit, right? And it's just the thing. And so eventually, and you don't have to do it like I do it. Like I do a webinar because that's the way I like doing it. You could do a Facebook Live. You could do a YouTube Live. You could do a Blog Talk Radio. It doesn't matter. All it's got to do is got to be you got to be comfortable and you got to give 30 minutes is all I'm saying. You can go longer, right? If you want to go longer, go longer. Like I'm typically hustling off of here, right? Trying to get off of here in 30 minutes. I typically can't, but I'm just saying that's the equity. That's all you have. That is the equity that you put in to that relationship. And people don't even have to come all the time in order for you to get the equity. Just the fact that they know. See, when you show up, when you show up every whatever, every Tuesday night, Thursday night, Wednesday night, whatever the case is, you know what that says? It runs in the back of people's mind at a psychological level that in this world, internet marketing world where everything is fake and everything's phony, there's one thing that's real. This person is here every Tuesday night at 7:30. That's real. I know because I've been there. That's what you're trying to establish, right? You've got to establish that. You've got to establish that. And so I might not come to your training as your customer until I see your training archive. A lot of us do that. You say, should I commit to this? This guy, this woman, she does a training on every Wednesday night. Well, should I watch her videos? Right? Well, no, she did one this week and one last week and another one 3 months ago. I'm not investing my time. It can be great content, but when I see that this person does one every single day, that's the channel I want. That's the one I'm subscribing to. And a lot of people think that way. And a lot of people who will spend money with you think that way, right? Because I want you to think about this. I want you to think about this. Everybody's got levels at which they spend money. And so who do we want to spend money when we've got a little more money to work with? Who we want to spend money with the expert because they're trusted. We want to spend money with that brand because they're trusted. Sometimes there's certain aspects of your life where you are not going to go and get the cheapest thing because you don't have time for it, right? I'm like that. We're like that with coffee, right? We're not like that with much, but we're like that with coffee. I don't want any coffee. I don't want anybody's coffee. I don't care that it's just brown water. It's not just brown water to me. I want good coffee. And so for me to go and get, you know, some, the the gas station brand, I'm not trying to do that. Right? I want a consistent taste. I want what I want. And so, I'm willing to spend a little more. And we all have stuff we're like that about. Your customers are going to be like that with you. And so you establish that equity by being there every single week so that they know you're trustworthy. Right? Okay. I'm off my soapbox. All right. Okay, so let me see. Santu says, can you do 30-minute weekly training on TikTok? I'm sure you can, right? And so it doesn't matter if everybody's looking at 1 minute shorts. Some people are going to vibe with you because you're not like everybody else. So in other words, typically, and I've said this, and when I say this, I'm repeating something that Ben Settle says. I'm repeating something that Dan Kennedy says. Um, if everybody's doing one thing, that's the one thing you don't want to do, right? There's always got to be something in your market or your niche where you defy the normal. You go and you figure out what's normal, what everybody thinks is supposed to happen, what everybody's doing, what everybody says is supposed to be done in order to generate an income, and you decide I'm not doing that. And then you go and you on purpose defy it. So there's got to be some aspects, as many as you can, where you go in and wherever it's normal, whatever the norm is, you defy it, right? And what happens is, well, you got all these 1 minute TikToks and everybody's, doing, everybody's dancing. and you're not, right? You think, well, nobody's listening to me. No, but only the people who are your people are listening to you. And so, yes, to some degree, maybe you could do the 30 minutes because the people that are going to vibe with you, they're not going to listen to a 1 minute TikTok. They're going to listen to your 30-minute one, and they don't want to hear the 1 minute one, right? And so you might only have, let's say, 30 or 40 people, but how many do you really need to be good customers? Right? If all those people become good customers, it doesn't matter if you got a million followers. Um, that are going to be horrible customers. All you really need are those 30 or 40 who are like, when's Santu going to post again? I can't wait, And they go, well, 10 o'clock on Tuesday. I can't wait. That's what you want. Okay. Okay, James. Okay, am I continuing with Blog Talk Radio? Yes. I need a schedule. Right. I need a schedule, Jane. I am going to continue. I need a schedule. Um, okay, Craig, you're building a high level. Yes. Right? I mean, that's the necessary thing. Um, Accessibility. Okay, good. You know what? We can bring in an expert, right? We can bring in somebody to do that. Um, can you do a weekly Q&A? Yes, you can. Right, Santu? I think you should be doing one. Right? I think you should be doing one. It could be a Q&A. It could be whatever you want it to be. I think you just need to be there live. Um, yeah, Paul, and that's the kind of thing. Paul's saying doing lunch and learn in partnership with local banks. Perfect, right? That's the way to do it, right? Let them bring you the traffic. Let them bring you the people, right? That's the people that you want. That's exactly what you should be doing, right? And what Dr. Reed is saying, right? All that 30 minutes, right, is content, right? That 30 minutes becomes content. Exactly right. Um, Okay, so Sharon's saying, I got a Facebook group. Should I do this 30 minutes on YouTube or in the Facebook group? You can do it. You can do it any place that you're comfortable. So wherever you're going to get the biggest bang, Sharon. So if the people are going to come and they're going to be engaged with you on Facebook, because I know you've got this, I know you got the group and people like it. So I would quite honestly, I would start by doing the live there because they like it, right? They like seeing you on Facebook, and they're engaged in your group. Um, Sharon's an ultimate insider. Sharon, when you have a chance, put the link to your group in the chat. Sharon's got a group. She talks about PLR, and uh, and she's an ultimate insider. So Sharon, when you have a chance, share that link here in the group. And then when you all have a chance, you should join up in Sharon's group where she talks about PLR. Awesome. Um, okay, let me see what I'm behind on here. Would I consider a Q&A absolutely content, right? Santu, so think about this. Somebody comes and asks you a specific question, one question about one thing, and you are then going to answer that question. That one clip, right? That's one clip that when you cut that one clip, that's great content for one question. So yes, a Q&A is awesome content because you are focused, right? I think a weekly Q&A is fantastic. I think what you should do though is to make sure to get the questions ahead of time, post the question so everybody can see it, and then answer the question, right? Don't answer it like you're reading your answer, which I don't think you would because you can kind of, you've got the ability to kind of talk to the camera. I would just post the question and then answer it in your natural tone, where that kind of thing, right? Yeah, and what Sharon is saying is right. So when you answer that question, it becomes your blog post. It's great content. It's not good content. It's great content. Absolutely. Yeah. And what Craig is saying, offer local training to members of your local business network. I am so um wanting to do this. My bandwidth is so short. I want to do this. I'm trying to get the millennial in my I'm trying to get the millennial in my house to do it for me. I don't know. We'll see. Right? I'm trying. You know, I'm trying. Uh, okay, let me see if I got any other questions. Is 20-minute Q&A too short? No, no, no. I think once you start answering questions, you'd be hard pressed to keep it to 20 minutes. Right? But I think when you're starting, you just answer the questions that are there. Now, what I will say though is I think the guy who wrote where's that thing I got? Uh Internet infomercial, this thing. The guy who did this, way back when, right? This is old school, right? The guy, his name is Mike Koenig. He said that you should know the questions that your customers should be asking. So, what are the questions they should be asking? So, let's say that you do not have enough questions in order to take up the time that you want to spend. Well, you answer the questions that they should be asking. So, whatever your market is, right? And I think I have an idea of what your niche is. Like, let's say that, you're talking about issues of leadership. Well, what questions should they be asking? Answer those questions. And you basically just get on and say, here's a question that probably comes up, one that you've thought about, one that I know that comes up as I think about it, blah, 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 blah. And you answer that question, right? So sometimes you just answer the questions that they should be asking, right? So, okay, good question. Yep, yep. We're planning. We're going to get together with you, Craig. Laurel's been after me about that, so I will. Yeah, no, exactly, Santu. Here's a question you may have been asking yourself, right? Exactly. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The new marketer workshop. Um, I've got my millennial on it. I'm working with her, and we will have all of it done by the end of the year. So all the past courses will be ready for go high level by the end of the year. Everything. So working on that. Yes. Yes, Santu. So yeah, get your questions ahead of time and post them. If you really want to be fancy, right? You can give the people a PDF ahead of time with all the questions. Right. That's if you really want to be fancy. Yeah, you know what, Santu, I did see your question. I have not had time to answer them. I will be answering them tonight. I got caught trying to get ready for the launch, which didn't happen today. So I'll be answering your questions tonight. I'm a little bit behind. No, it should not be in the well, yes, it should be during the live. So if you post if a customer asks you a question, you should answer that question on the live. Now, YouTube does give you community, like a community portal. You could post it there. So you could post that question and say, here's a question I got from, um, you know, you need to give your tribe a name, right? You need to give them some kind of name. I have not given you all a name, but you should give your people a name. The herd, right? Let's just call them the herd. And here's a question from the herd, and you post that in that YouTube community tab, right? You could post it there, right? Good question. Okay, yeah, Craig calls his the tribe. I still call I have a name for insiders, but I don't have a name for the entire community. Um, I'm working on that. But yeah, you should come up with a name, right? You should call your group a name of some kind. You could say questions from your members, right? You could certainly do that. Okay, X Tribe AI, Craig with the AI. Okay, so where are you building this? What platform are you building the community on, Craig? What are you building the community on? No, I mean, but what platform? What's the software? You're oh, okay, you're building it yourself. Okay. All right, cool. Very cool. Even better. Okay, everybody. Well, I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. I will well past 30 minutes. But it's always one of the highlights of my week is coming here and hanging out with you all. And let me see. Keith's question is learning or teaching AI really important? You need to teach it, right? You need to make sense of it for your customer. Yes, uh, it is important that you be vocal, that you take a position, um, and um, that you have a I don't know what you want to say, a definitive sort of, and you don't have to have this to start, but I think yes, you should be teaching your customer, and you should be known kind of like for a position, right, or become known. So it shouldn't just be AI is awesome, it's going to do everything, unless that's the way you feel, right? If you honestly feel that way, uh, but have a position, right? But the short answer to your question, which I didn't make short, is yes, you should be learning and teaching um, about AI, right? If you take any of our DFY live master classes and you just learn what I teach in there, right, and then teach that, that'll do, right? Any of them, right? Okay. Any other questions? Okay, everybody. Well, thanks for hanging out with me here. Um, uh, uh, just so that you'll know, Laurel's got something going on with her hands, and so we are, um, we're kind of, she's kind of not here as much lately, and we're trying to figure out what's kind of going on with her physically with her hands. So she will be back in the saddle very soon, we hope, and back with us on our call. No, you're welcome, Keith. Um, yeah. I want to talk to you about that, Craig. Definitely, and Laurel has been saying she wants us to chat with you about that. So, um, okay, everybody. Well, thank you very much for hanging out with us here. Have a great night and a pleasant tomorrow. Take care.